Hey ladies, so in this section we are going to talk all about the hair, so let's get started. The very first few tips I have for you are basic, everyday, practical hair care tips. So if you have not purchased what is called a wet brush, it is amazing. It's a game changer. So right after you get out of the shower, I know that you probably notice your hair is super tangly, it can get knotted. With the wet brush, you do not have any of that, and so it is so much easier and less stress on your hair when you are combing through it. So purchase a wet brush. They're maybe $5 and they will really help your hair stay the best shape it can be, because then you're not going to be combing through and pulling at it and yanking at it. The wet brush was a game changer with hair. Additionally, I don't know if your hair dryer has this at the end of it, but this piece right here is so awesome because then you're not putting the full amount of heat on it as if it only looked like this. So when you put this little extension on there, you're able to not put as much heat on your hair, as well as you can hold down on this cool button here. And I always hold down on the cool button right as I'm finishing up blow drying my hair. That will lock in the hair cuticles, so that way there aren't flyaways, and it's just really healthy for the hair follicle in general. Now, the very best tip I have for hair care is a quality shampoo and conditioner. So I get these from an exclusive line and I can link below. That way you can get access to these products for yourself. They are amazing, and I seriously noticed a huge difference in my hair after using these. So I'm using color repair, but there's moisturizing, there's volumizing. There are so many different kinds of shampoos based on what you're needing in particular. So, I mean, if you don't have healthy hair, no matter what you do to it, it's going to look dry, or it's not going to look shiny, or whatever you're looking for. So good hair care really does start with the basics, like combing it and the blow drying and the shampoo and conditioner. Now, another great tip I have for you is to let your hair air dry if you can. So if you cannot put heat on it by not putting a blow dryer to it or a straightener, that is awesome. So like the less heat, the better. But like, so air drying it, or if you sit under a fan and you let it dry, that always works well. Maybe you can get away with sleeping with your hair wet overnight. I used to do that in high school. I don't know how I did that. But those are basic tips I have for you. Now, I have been modeling since I was 9 years old, and I've also been involved in pageants like the Miss Teen USA pageant and the Miss USA pageant. So I have a few hair tips for you. But I didn't know if you have heard of oils for your hair even. There are leave-in oils where you squirt it on your hands and you lather it up, and then you just comb through your hair and you can let it sit overnight. It's kind of like a deep conditioning treatment in a way. It works really well. Now, since I've been in pageants, I have been exposed to the world of hair extensions, so maybe this is something you want to look into. So I don't have hair extensions in right now, but I will show you what they would look like or what they would come in. So this is the brand that I got. It's called Bellamy. So it comes in a little hanging clip, I guess. It's a hanger. And I ordered them in the lightest blonde they had, and then I had my hairstylist match it to my hair. That way you can't tell that they're extensions. So you can always take them in to your hairstylist, your hairdresser, and get them accustomed to your hair shade. Obviously you can't really lighten hair extensions, so start as light as possible because your hairstylist can always add dark color to it. So there are so many options of extensions. And what is your goal with hair extensions if that is what you're wanting? Are you wanting just the volume, that way there's no holes peeking through in your wedding photos. Are you just wanting length to your hair? Are you just wanting it thicker or more hair for people to work with when they're styling your hair for your wedding? So hair extensions are absolutely a great option, but there are so many different kinds of extensions. So there are tape-in extensions, there are tie-in extensions, and there are clip-in extensions. There's like a halo band extension. There are so many different kinds. I just want to let you know, like, I have found that the clip-in is the best because then I can take them out at the end of the day, and then I don't have to invest money in getting them done all the time. Yes, my hair extensions are not in all the time. I only use them for special occasions, but I'll just kind of show you quickly how it works. So I won't put them in right now, but how these work are with these clips, you start with the longest, or like a 2-piece clip at the base of your head. Then you go to a 3-piece clip. You could go to a 4, and then you'll put the 2s or the singles on the sides of your hair. So just showing you quickly. So these clips, they look like that on the back end. So you're able to just simply clip them in your hair. Now you obviously do it towards the base of your hair, that way people can't see the clip. And you'll also want to use some sort of texturing spray and hairspray. That way your hair extensions have something to actually grasp onto. If you have freshly washed hair, those extensions might just slip out, so be aware of that. But those are called Bellamy. I believe those are 18 inches long, but they have like ridiculously long extensions, so they look amazing. I would highly recommend them. And let's continue on. So there are treatments called deep conditioning treatments as well. You can ask your hairstylist for one of these if you're just wanting a one-time thing for your hair, just to get that extra love that you're needing it to get. There's also what's called a clear coat over the top of your hair, which looks glossy. So that's maybe how those commercials get models with hair that look almost shiny in a way. You can get a clear coat over your hair that makes it look very glossy. So before you use like straighteners or curling irons, I always use a heat protectant thermal spray. So I'll spritz it all over my hair, and that just helps the heat not damage your hair as much. So I also want to let you know that dirtier hair is easier to work with. You're probably like, that's gross. I want my hair clean on my wedding. I know what you mean, but okay, so my hair here, this is 2 days old. So I use what is called dry shampoo for the second day if I'm trying to curl my hair, because if it's freshly washed, my hair doesn't hold a curl because it's naturally pin straight. So dry shampoo, if you haven't heard of it before, is awesome. It will extend without having to shower with your hair or wash your hair. And I can just rinse off my body instead. I'll put a shower cap on. That way my hair doesn't get touched by the water. I can rinse off my body, and then my hair has that dirtier, grittier feel for the next day when I'm attempting to style it like this. So dry shampoo will take all the oil looking, I guess it just takes the shine out of it, like greasiness, it takes it out. That way your hair looks like you washed it, and that's why it's called dry shampoo. So that is a life-changing product as well. Plus it's actually healthier for your hair if you don't wash it every day. Go figure, I know. I did not grow up knowing that, so I washed my hair every day. But I have found that friends of mine who go maybe 2 or 3 days between washing their hair have extra healthy hair. Obviously, you do not want that greasy look though. That's why dry shampoo comes in very handy. But yes, having that dirtier hair is so much easier to work with. So it gives your hair extra texture to work with because you have a buildup of hair products like dry shampoo or texture spray or hairspray, and it soaks up all the oils. Awesome, so you don't have to worry about that. Now, I don't know if you've ever heard of texture spray. There are so many different brands out there. This is something that, since when you freshly have hair that is just right out of the shower and maybe blow dried and has no texture to it, this is awesome, especially when I do a middle part. I will put texture spray right here on the wings just so it stays out of my face. It also helps with back combing or teasing your hair because it gives your hair something to work with. I've also seen of textured powders. Those are sometimes hard to get out, but I used to use those, so you can always do that as well. If your hair is super staticky and the hair's going everywhere, you can use a dryer sheet. Yes, a dryer sheet, and run it over your hair and it will take the static right out of it. Amazing, I know. All right, so if you are planning on curling your hair for your wedding or for any event, bridal shower, bachelorette party, honeymoon, all that fun stuff, what I suggest is curling your hair closest to the time of the event, so that way it's less time for your hair for the curls to start falling out. You can do what is called pin-up curls though. So in the pageant world, there are girls that will curl their hair and then roll it up and stick a clip in their hair, so that way the gravity isn't pulling at their curls. So you can probably find tutorials on that. Pin-up curls is what that's called. So when you are curling your hair, I always start from the bottom, so I will section off my hair and start with the base of my hair. Same thing with putting extensions in. So I always recommend having a nice hair clip to hold it back while you're working. Now there are so many different styles of curls. I just want you to be aware of that. So I use what are called wands, and these wands have different sizes. So obviously you can see the difference in the thickness. So when you have a smaller wand like this, you're going to have tighter curls, almost like ringlets. When you do a bigger barrel like this, you're going to have looser curls. So I used this one to achieve this look, which is those loose curls, just a little bit of flow to my hair. In other videos of mine that you've seen me use this, which is the tighter curls. Now I always recommend brushing out those curls. You don't want ringlets. You don't want to see necessarily which sections you curled. So I always brush them out. That gives it that nice polished look. So those are wands. There are curling irons that are barrels. So you'll see it has that little clip on it and you like kind of crank your hair into it. So that's what a lot of professional hairstylists use. The wand is so easy for me though, and that brand is called Nume, N-U-M-E. They've been awesome for me, and that's what I've always used. So just make sure for your wedding that you brainstorm a hairstyle for the wedding that could maybe incorporate a veil if you are wanting a veil. So for my wedding, I actually wore my hair very similar to this. I did have my extensions in, but I was able to wear a veil very easily. So some people want to do updos because that gives them somewhere to place the veil in their hair. But you don't have to do an updo for your wedding. I just want you to know that. Please do your hair in a hairstyle that makes you feel beautiful and that you're going to like in all of the photos and the video. But of course, if you're having someone do your hair for your wedding, please, please, please do a trial run. So that way you will for sure know that they understand the vision of what you want your hair to look like for your wedding. And that way you can get the final product before the actual wedding day, so maybe a week or two in advance, to make sure that, yes, this is how we're going to do my hair for the wedding. I love it, and then you can rest assured and not stress out about worrying if they're going to mess up your hair for your wedding day. Because if you get in their chair on your wedding day and they do your hair in a way that you do not like and you have no time to fix it, you're just kind of out of luck. So that's why trial runs are so important. All right, and you'll have to schedule way in advance if you're wanting someone to do your hair for your wedding, especially if you have a summer wedding. So get on their schedule, that way you can get the correct hairstylist that you want for styling your hair for your wedding day. If your bridesmaids are getting their hair done for your wedding and you have a specific updo or specific hairstyle or a specific braid that you want these hairstylists to give your bridesmaids, make sure that all of their appointments are scheduled as well. Normally they will pay for their own hair to get done, but you still have to schedule them way in advance. And I actually did my own makeup and my own hair for the Miss USA pageant and for my wedding. So hair it's a skill. It's a life skill. If you can do your hair, it is awesome to have in your back pocket as a great skill. So this wedding of yours is just motivating you to learn a new skill. Just look at it in that capacity. I did not know how to do hair beginning in the pageant world. When I was 16 and competed for Miss Nebraska Teen USA, I literally slept in rollers. Like I had wet hair, I slept in rollers and I took them out. I didn't know what I was doing. I then graduated to hot rollers, but I kid you not, as you practice, you'll get more comfortable with it, you'll get faster at it, and it will just make a lot more sense for you. So hopefully I'm not overwhelming you too much with hair tips. Like I said, you can always get a professional to do your wedding hair for you. This is just an option if you're like, yeah, I want to start learning how to do my own hair. That way I can do it for all of the events leading up to the wedding, and then I'll feel beautiful, and then I know how to do it for the rest of my life. Just make sure that if you are coloring your hair, that you have an appointment close to the wedding date. That way your roots aren't grown out for all the photos. So that was one more tip I wanted to make sure I mentioned. That way you don't have those photos looking back where you're like, I wish I would have gotten my hair appointment done closer to the actual wedding date. So that is all the information I have for you regarding hair tips, except I do have one more, I guess. So this barrel that I used, how it works when you're curling your hair is I will hold it this way and wrap my hair around the barrel going to the end, hold it on for a few seconds, and then I'll shake it out. So when I go on this side, I hold the barrel like that. I'll start wrapping my hair around like so, and when it's done, hold it on there a few seconds and shake it out. So that is helpful because the hair will be facing away from me, so it creates that flared look. You can do opposite, but that's not what I would recommend. So I wanted to show you exactly the strategies that I used for curling my hair like this. So thank you for watching, and please continue on.